Can you imagine? He had billions. She served tables. In a crowded restaurant, under the weight of sneers and condescension, a powerful tycoon tried to break her with words. But what happened next? She looked him dead in the eye and said 7 words. 7 words that stopped forks midair, that turned gasps into silence, that shattered egos, set the internet on fire, and changed her life forever. You won't believe what she said. If you love interesting stories like this that expose the truth, please give this video a thumbs up and tell us in the comments section where in the world you are watching this video, and also do well to smash that subscribe button. If you were sitting at table 12 that Tuesday night, you wouldn't have seen it coming. You'd be enjoying your wine, talking about weekend plans, maybe scrolling through your phone between bites. You wouldn't notice the waitress with the gentle smile and tired eyes, the one whose name tag read Jena Williams. But that's where everything started. Jena Williams was 26, working double shifts at the Sterling Room, an upscale restaurant in downtown Atlanta. She wasn't flashy or loud. She didn't chase tips with fake smiles. She just worked hard, showed up on time, and treated every customer with respect. That Tuesday evening, the dinner crowd was thick with suits and expensive watches. You could hear the soft clink of silverware and jazz music floating through the air. Jena had just finished taking a dessert order when a sharp voice cut through the atmosphere like a blade. "Excuse me. Hello." She turned, still holding her notepad, flashing that practice smile every server knows. "I'll be right with you, sir. Just let me." "I don't care who you're with," the man snapped. "I've been waiting 15 minutes. 15? Where's your manager?" The customer at table 9 was older, maybe late 40s, with silver hair slicked back and a black suit that probably cost more than Jena made in a month. His voice was sharp enough to cut glass. A woman sat across from him, suddenly fascinated by her menu. "I'll get to you in just a moment, sir," Jena repeated, staying calm. "Thank you for your patience." She turned back to finish her original order, walked to the kitchen without rushing. It was a small choice, but it lit the fuse for everything that followed. Because the man at table 9 was Marcus Blackstone, business tycoon worth billions, built a real estate empire from nothing. The kind of man who expected the world to stop when he spoke. And Marcus wasn't used to being told to wait, especially not by a black waitress. Back in the kitchen, Jena took a breath. She'd dealt with rude customers before, but something about this man made her skin crawl. Still, she wasn't about to lose her job over someone's ego. She grabbed 2 waters and walked back to table 9. "Here you go," she said, placing the glasses down. "What can I get started for you?" Marcus didn't look at her. He stared straight ahead and said, "Well, isn't that impressive? You can speak and serve drinks. Should I clap?" The woman across from him winced. Several diners stopped eating, but Jena didn't flinch. "Would you like sparkling or still water?" she asked, her voice steady. That's when he laughed. A cold, hollow sound that didn't reach his eyes. "You know, if you people worked half as hard as you complain, you might actually get somewhere." The entire restaurant froze. A waiter stopped pouring wine. Someone's fork clinked against a plate, and no one moved. It wasn't just what he said, it was how loud he said it. How sure he was that no one would challenge him. But someone would, and it wouldn't be in a shout. It would be in one perfect sentence. Jena stood there, pen still in hand, eyes locked on Marcus like she was studying him. Not angry, not scared, just still. Her lips parted slightly, but instead of speaking, she took a slow breath and looked down at the table, then back up. The silence was deafening. "Did you hear me?" Marcus asked, tilting his head like a child testing boundaries. "Or do I need to repeat it slower?" Jena's jaw tightened just slightly. "I heard you, and I'm going to ask you again, sir. Sparkling or still?" Marcus scoffed. Is this how you treat all your customers? Or is this your version of attitude? His companion finally looked up, whispering, Marcus, maybe we should. No, he snapped without glancing at her. I want to know what kind of training this place gives. Or maybe you skipped that part, sweetheart. Too busy posting about oppression online? There it was. The final insult, delivered loud enough for half the restaurant to hear. Jena slowly placed her notepad in her apron pocket and clasped her hands in front of her, standing straight the way her grandmother taught her when facing someone who'd already made up their mind about you. Mr. Blackstone, she said, her voice steady. The kitchen's running behind, but I'll get your order in. I'd recommend the salmon tonight. It's fresh. Salmon? Marcus grinned, clearly amused. How fitting. That was it. The line wasn't just crossed, it was obliterated. Jena stared at him, but not like she was challenging him. It was more like she'd already made peace with what she had to do. Her face didn't twitch. Her hands didn't shake. There was no anger, just this calm strength like a mountain that refuses to be moved. And then came the words. One sentence, spoken softly but clearly, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. You must be exhausted, carrying that much hate into every room. The impact was immediate. The silence that followed didn't feel like shock. It felt like truth hitting marble. Marcus blinked just once. For the first time, he had nothing clever to say. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. The woman across from him stared at Jena like she just witnessed something holy and terrifying. A man at table 12 sat back slowly in his chair. From a corner booth, someone whispered, "Damn." Thomas Rodriguez, the manager, finally stepped forward. He was tall, professional, with the kind of presence that commanded respect without demanding it. "Is there a problem here, sir?" he asked, standing behind Jena. Marcus straightened, trying to reclaim his authority. "Yeah, there is. I've been insulted in your establishment. Publicly." Thomas didn't even glance at Jena. His eyes stayed locked on Marcus. "By whom?" Marcus gestured toward Jena, almost laughing. "Who do you think?" Thomas blinked slowly. "Because from where I'm standing, all I saw was a young woman doing her job and a grown man trying to humiliate her for it." The woman with Marcus, Sarah Mitchell, looked at Thomas and nodded slightly. She didn't say Jena was wrong. Marcus turned on her now. "Oh, so now you're on her side too?" "I'm not on anyone's side," Sarah said quietly. "I just don't want to be part of whatever this is." You could feel the shift then. Everyone in the room silently agreed. He wasn't just rude. He was out of line. "I'd like to ask you to lower your voice," Thomas said, still calm but firmer. "Or we can continue this conversation outside." Marcus narrowed his eyes. "You're kicking me out?" "No," Thomas replied. "I'm offering you the chance to stay with respect." That's when Marcus completely lost it. "Oh, give me a break," he spat. "This whole performance, everyone pretending to be morally superior just because I said what you were all thinking." Someone actually gasped. He looked around the restaurant like he was daring someone to challenge him. "You all want to play Saints tonight? Fine. Clap for the waitress. Give her a standing ovation. That'll make you feel better driving back to your overpriced apartments." His laugh was shaky now, desperate. "I'm not the problem. The problem is people like her thinking they've earned some moral high ground just for showing up." Thomas stepped closer. "Sir?" But Jena interrupted, her voice quieter now, but cutting through the room like a thread through fabric. "No one's clapping. No one's standing. People are just watching you show them exactly who you are." Marcus stared at her, waiting for her to take it back. She didn't. He slowly rose from his chair, looking around at faces that offered no support. His jaw moved like he was grinding his teeth. Then he grabbed his jacket and looked down at Sarah. "You coming?" Sarah stood, grabbed her purse, and said simply, I'll call my own ride. That was the final blow. Marcus stormed toward the exit, and as the doors closed behind him, you could feel the tension leave with him. Thomas looked at Jena. You okay? She nodded. I'm fine. But the story was just beginning. As the door shut behind Marcus, nobody moved for a moment. Then slowly, the man from table 12 raised his glass slightly toward Jena. Not a toast, an acknowledgement. One by one, people started breathing again, whispering across tables. But something had changed. It wasn't just about Marcus anymore. It was about how Jena had stood there, never raising her voice, never backing down, never stooping to his level. People don't forget that kind of grace. Not when they see it in real time. Jena exhaled. Not dramatically, just enough to clear her chest. Then she turned back to her section and kept working. She didn't want a medal. She just wanted to finish her shift. But the night wasn't over. A woman at table 8 stopped her as she walked by. You handled that with such grace, she said. My daughter's starting her first job next week. I hope she can carry herself like that if she ever faces something like this. Jena smiled gently. Thank you, ma'am. I hope she never has to. Then came the tips. Table 5 left a $100 bill folded under their plate. Table 8 added a note. For your dignity. Sarah, Marcus's former companion, had moved to the bar. She waited until Jena had a moment. Mind if I say something? She asked. Jena shrugged. Sure. Sarah leaned in. I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner. I should have said something. He does that all the time, and usually people just let it slide. But you didn't, Jena said. Not really. Not tonight. No, Sarah admitted. But I let him bring me here. That's something I'll think about. By the time Jena got home, her phone was buzzing nonstop. Someone had recorded Marcus's outburst and her response. The video was everywhere. The caption read, Waitress shuts down Billionaire with one line. Dead silence. Thousands of retweets. Hundreds of thousands of views. Comments pouring in. This woman said one line and owned the entire room. This is how you carry yourself. Calm, unbothered, dignified. She didn't even raise her voice. That's real power. Her friend Keisha called immediately. Girl, you broke the internet. I didn't ask for this, Jena said, scrolling through the flood of notifications. I know, but you didn't have to. That moment was real. You weren't performing. That's what makes it powerful. By morning, news stations were calling. Influencers were reposting. Someone started a GoFundMe that crossed $30,000 in 6 hours. Marcus's PR team issued a statement. Mr. Blackstone acknowledges his behavior was inappropriate and deeply regrets any offense. He is pursuing sensitivity training. The internet wasn't buying it. One comment read, He's only sorry he got caught. She made him look small by staying composed. While the online buzz eventually died down, something deeper was happening. Teachers were showing the video in classrooms. Young workers were messaging Jena, saying she reminded them they didn't have to accept disrespect with a smile. A week later, an envelope appeared under the staff room door. Inside was a letter from Marcus's lawyer, offering a formal apology and a meeting if she wanted. Jena folded the letter and put it away. She didn't need to look that man in the eye again. But then came another message. Marcus was quietly funding scholarships at a job training center in Atlanta. 5 full scholarships in Jena's name. When the lawyer delivered this news in person, Jena had one response. Tell him this isn't about redemption. It's about responsibility. 2 weeks later, Jena stood in front of 20 teenagers at the same training center Marcus had funded. Most wore hoodies, some chewed gum. A few scrolled their phones until she started speaking. Most of the time, she said, you don't get to control how people see you. Some people will judge your clothes, your skin, your job before they ever look in your eyes. And you won't always get to fix that. The room went quiet. But you can control what you say and how you say it. And sometimes that's louder than shouting. A girl in the front row raised her hand. What happened after you said that line? Jena smiled. I got silence. The kind you can feel. The kind that makes a man with all the money in the world realize he can't buy back respect. Jena ended her talk the way she wanted, on her own terms. If you remember anything, she said, don't remember my job or the man I was talking to. Remember this. Sometimes your calm is your strength. Your quiet is your fight. Your dignity is your line. And no one gets to cross it without your permission. Afterward, she walked to her car alone. No cameras, no applause. Just her. The sun was setting, painting the sky in soft colors. She sat on her hood and looked up. Not waiting for anything, just breathing. Her phone buzzed again. She ignored it. For the first time in weeks, she wasn't reacting to the world around her. She was shaping her own space in it. Not because of what she said, but because of how she said it and who she refused to become in the process. If you ever find yourself in a room where someone tries to make you feel small, remember Jena Williams. Remember that you don't have to shout to be heard. You don't have to fight fire with fire. Your stillness, your clarity can be the loudest voice in the room. When the moment comes, speak like it matters. Stand like you belong. And never forget, respect isn't something you beg for. It's something you carry within yourself, no matter who's watching. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply refuse to be diminished. Sometimes one sentence, spoken with dignity, can silence a room full of money and power. And sometimes, that's exactly what the world needs to see.